So I've been thinking about this topic for some time, and it was really difficult to discuss, to say it, because it seems like taboo. But screw it, parents suck. And I know it might feel like a bad thing to say, but I feel like this is part of life, part of growth, is dealing with parents making things difficult. Because in a very young age, we really don't know what we want to do in life. And we look up to parents. And this is where I feel like they mess up, regardless to what they do. They tell you how great you are, or they tell you how not great you are. They tell you how important money is, or they just never discuss money because money is always tight. When they're always telling you how good things are, once you go on in the real world, you recognize what they said is not necessarily true. Because now you're competing with other people out there. It's not just what you get in your classroom, or it's not what your parents are telling you. And when you're constantly hearing that, really, you think you're that great until you step out in the real world and you get smacked in the face. When they tell you you are not that great, once you go out in the real world, you are very negative. You feel like you are not that great. But then you see all these opportunities and you're watching all these YouTube videos or all your friends and you're realizing you are great. It might take actually a special teacher to tell you you're great. And then you realize your parents were wrong. When it comes to money, it's never discussed around your household. But once you step out in the real world, you are completely lost. And believe me or not, you're gonna have to learn about money. It's strictly gonna be a consequences if you don't. And you will learn based on experience. When they tell you everything is about money, and you go out in the real world, you realize that doesn't bring you happiness. Money does give you opportunities, but it doesn't give you happiness. So that's why I feel like parents really make our life difficult. And it's not because they're bad people, it's because that's part of our learning. It's part of our maturation of becoming an adult. And they want the best of us, but they're telling us their perspective of what's best for them. And what worked for them 20, 30 years ago doesn't work for us now with this current generation and this current landscape we live in. So that is something that I want to discuss about. And that's the reason why I created this channel, because I feel like the faster you close that gap in realizing all the crap your parents told you or you learn as a young adult is trash, the faster it is you could learn to discover yourself. Because I tell you this, it's a very difficult process when you're dealing with realizing that everything you were told was wrong. And sometimes you don't realize that, and you're constantly trying to reach this goal that your parents put on you. And you realize it's not who you are, it's who they want you to be. And some people, it takes 10, 15, 20 years to figure it out. Some people will take them, instantly recognizing the parents are just full of crap and they figure things out on their own. But life is really about experiences and perspective. So what I want to say is this: the faster you learn how to figure things out on your own, the better I feel you'll be as an individual. And you have to feel the pain. There's no way to avoid the pain. And that's what parents do. They want to make it as limited as possible so you don't feel the pain of the real world. But that's just the way it is. You're going to feel it. So my channel is really all about money. And the fascination with money is it shows your behavior. And even if you're lying to yourself, money will expose the truth. You could be lying to your friends saying you have all this money, but eventually it will run out and the truth will be exposed. And learning about it is very difficult if you don't have the good surroundings around you, a good mentor or good friends, or you're not reading a good book or whatever the case may be. So that's the reason why I created my channel, because I feel like we just need to become more understanding that parents suck. And we need to be the ones to make the change. We can't depend on everyone to make our lives better. It's really up to ourselves to take that leap, to take that risk, and to realize that failure is not a bad thing. Failure is an opportunity to learn, because you don't want to live life regretting things. It was, I'm paraphrasing here, but it was Trevor Noah said something like this. What he said was, he doesn't regret the things that he said or the things that he done, because the things that he said and things that he has done in life gives you answers. But the regret of not doing something, that's something you would never get an answer. And that's very difficult to deal with. So my advice is, go for your goals. Don't be afraid to achieve great things in life. And yes, along the way, you're gonna get a lot of people saying you're crazy. You know, what you're trying to do is just a horrible idea. Maybe you love art, and people see art as a non-lucrative business, but you just push through because that's what you really want to do. You might get into a different industry that your parents wanted you in, and people are gonna think you're crazy for doing it. People are gonna think I'm crazy for doing YouTube videos, but it's just a passion of mine to teach, learn, educate, to keep it going. To me, YouTube is an opportunity to help people, because just like money and information, it needs to be in constant flow. So I feel like hoarding is no good. So sharing and educating people out there has always been my goal. But I've always been extremely shy to talk, because my parents always said, I talk too fast or I have an accent. So I was very, very conscious about the way I spoke. But it took me a long time to find my voice. And now I really just don't care. I do all the things I want to do in life because I need to experience it. It's kind of like what Trevor Noah said. I started to regret the things I have never done. So my parents always preached about working hard. And I am a very hard worker. But the problem with that was, I felt like hard working was only in corporate America. That was the only way for me to get income. And I needed to stay quiet and just work hard. That's all I needed to do. And I would, become very successful. As we're all starting to discover, that is not the case. There's plenty of avenues out there to make money. And it's not only in corporate America. You could really do anything you want in this nation and you can make money. The difficult thing, though, is going against the current, going against what society feels like you should do. But if you recognize, most people out there who are successful achieved their goals by going against what people said they shouldn't do. Because everyone wants comfort. But to me, creativity dies when you're in comfort. So you need to become uncomfortable and get comfortable with being uncomfortable in order to achieve your goals. So it's very difficult to achieve your goals. I understand that. But it's possible. And the way to start it is by starting it. And if you fail, you learn, pick yourself up, and try something else. There's not only one opportunity we have in this world. We have plenty of opportunities. You try and discover it. Unfortunately, our parents discovered it for us, or society discovered it for us. So what we did was, we just did what everyone else wanted us to do if we felt like that was right. So I'm hoping in this video, I would be able to just let you all know that you are not just a one opportunity person. You are not a one skilled person. You have plenty of opportunities, and you probably have so many skills that you are afraid to untap because you're afraid that society's gonna look at you and have a different opinion of you. And you're afraid to stand out. You want to stick with the herd and do what the herd, mentality is. So go for your goals. Don't be afraid. But screw it. Everything needs to be achieved in your life. You only live this life once. Don't live with the regret. That's an answer you never would get. So with that being said, go out there and do great things. And hopefully my channel will be able to help you along your journey.